Down in Australia, BYD showrooms saw foot traffic explode by 300%. A single salesman moved over 100 cars in a month. Their biggest nightmare isn't finding customers, it's having absolutely no cars left to deliver. But it gets even crazier in Thailand. Prime Minister Anutin directly parked his Rolls-Royce and switched to a $30,000 BYD Celion 07. He rode it straight to Parliament, endorsing Chinese EVs right in front of the national media. Even Americans can't sit still. Over 40% of consumers actively want to buy a Chinese EV, but because a massive 100% tariff completely blocked them, some are already planning to fly to Mexico, buy one, and drive it back across the border themselves. In February 2026, Chinese auto brands sold 22,362 vehicles in Australia, officially overtaking Japan's 21,671. The Iron Curtain of Japanese monopoly, which lasted for 28 long years, shattered overnight. But if you think this is just because gas prices went up and people want a cheap ride, you are completely underestimating this revolution. Behind a single Chinese EV stands the most terrifying industrial supply chain on the planet. Over 80% of the world's lithium battery capacity is in China. China controls 96% of cathode materials and 85% of anode materials. From upstream aluminum processing to midstream batteries, motors, and electronic controls, all the way to downstream vehicle assembly and smart systems, the entire chain is locked in their hands. When global automakers build an EV, they have to source core components from around the world. Chinese car companies? They handle everything from the raw mine to the finished car under one single roof. Their production costs are directly 20 to 30% lower than those of their European rivals. Even more suffocating is their speed. For a Chinese automaker, taking a new car from project kickoff to mass production takes just 12 to 18 months. In Europe, it takes 36 to 48 months. By the time a European car rolls off the line, its Chinese competitor has already undergone 2 generations of iteration. BYD applies for an average of 45 patents every day, 15 times Tesla's volume. A German consulting firm published a dedicated report titled China Speed. One line inside left all of Europe restless. Even if Chinese automakers move their factories to Europe, they still retain a 50 to 80% efficiency advantage. This isn't a cost gap. This is a generational systemic divide. You can't copy it, and you can't catch up. That is why Volkswagen plans to lay off 50,000 workers before 2030, with profits cut in half. Honda reported its first annual loss in nearly 70 years since its listing. Meanwhile, BYD is hiring like crazy and expanding production relentlessly. They sold 4.6 million vehicles globally in 2025, and they are even building their own massive cargo ships to transport them. Their export target has been aggressively raised to 1.5 million units. While one side is bleeding out through layoffs, the other is expanding to seize talent. The power of the global auto industry is officially changing hands. However, the supply chain is just the foundation. The truly terrifying part about a Chinese EV is that once you get inside, you can never go back. First, the price pulls you through the door. The average price of a new car in the US is nearing $50,000. In Europe, many Chinese EVs enter the market for under $30,000. For the same budget, a Chinese EV offers twice the features and tech configurations. Then the experience completely ruins you for anything else. Wall Street Journal tech reporters test drove the Xiaomi SU7 Max, and 2 weeks later, published what read like a love letter, begging the brand to enter the US market. They noted that the cabin felt like a brand new smartphone, while going back to their Ford felt like a relic, with loading a map requiring 5 taps on the screen. Even Ford's CEO, after test driving the SU7, admitted he loved it so much he didn't want to part with it. Finally, the ecosystem locks you in forever. The smart cabin continuously iterates, pushing new features via over-the-air updates. The car gets smarter the longer you drive it. Your phone and car system are deeply integrated, allowing you to control the entire vehicle with a single voice command. Once you enter this ecosystem, looking back at a traditional gas car feels exactly like downgrading from an iPhone back to a Nokia. Cheap pricing gets you through the door. The experience keeps you coming back. The ecosystem ensures you never leave. This isn't winning on a single feature. This is a devastating combination of punches that leaves competitors with zero chance to fight back. In fact, this exact scene played out half a century ago. In the 1970s, two major oil crises caused gas prices to skyrocket from $3 per barrel to $39 per barrel. Back then, American streets were flooded with massive gas-guzzling V8 monsters that everyday citizens could no longer afford to drive. Japanese automakers, who had spent years obsessing over fuel-saving technology, seized this golden opportunity and charged into the market. Their market share exploded from less than 4% to over 20%. By 1980, Japan's auto production surpassed that of the United States for the first time, taking the global crown. Relying on an oil crisis, Japanese cars completed their transformation from local brands to global overlords. But no matter how fuel-efficient a Japanese car is, it still burns oil. It still has to look at the oil market's face. Today, Chinese EVs have completely turned the tables. They don't use gas at all. The higher oil prices soar, the more crushing their advantage becomes. In 2025, China's global auto sales reached 27 million units, surpassing Japan for the first time to claim the world's #1 spot. While others are still racking their brains to secure oil supply routes, China has already grabbed the master switch of global energy. If you want to witness how this massive industrial revolution unfolds, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next grid.